So, congratulations first and foremost on your team's very first domination victory. So,
Heck yeah.
so how does that feel to finally close out a series with two wins instead of only one?
It feels heckin' darn good. I'd say shout out to Tempest, the guy who writes for NGS Heroic Division. He predicted we were gonna lose this week. So shout out to our haters. There are no, but for real, it feels really good. We just recently made a role swap with Patches, and we're feeling really good. Our games are looking really good, and we're feeling more confident, and we're looking forward to getting more wins.
Yeah. So, what was switches then, or switches? What was the switch from Patch's role before, and who switched with him?
Right. So we had a player W the Rock B. He played like primarily ranged heroes. Like so he played a lot of Hanzo and Mage. Right now Patches comes in. He plays kind of like a more of a mixture of like he plays like Genji and Greymane and mages as well. But he doesn't play Hanzo. So you see me taking up that Hanzo in
Okay.
game one and a few others. I mean, like right now we're kind of figuring out our hero pool, but it's a slight adjustment, but I think it fits our playstyle really well. We're a pretty big like team. We like to go in and get blowups, and that's kind of the heroes that we're getting.
Yeah. So, were you guys surprised? So, first off, were you surprised they let you get Phoenix, especially past what was it, the second ban in the first game and in even the second game?
I was. I'm not surprised. I think the general consensus amongst heroic division and just masters and pro players in general is that Phoenix is a little overrated, and I think that's true as like Phoenix as the hyper carry.
Hmm.
But I think people are gonna pretty quickly find out that Phoenix is one of the most dominant solo laners in the game.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I think that's a storm that's coming. I didn't mean to give away some sleeper strats right there, but it's something that we've kind of been playing around with and we really like. And I wasn't surprised it got through first game
Hmm.
because people are expecting it to be in your four man.
Yep.
I was surprised they banned the Blaze in the second game.
Same.
Um, because I figured they'd already realized that Phoenix was going to be our solo laner. So I was I think that maybe they just hadn't adjusted and realized that that's what we were doing.
Okay. Yeah, because I literally said during the cast I don't know what the Blaze ban is, so same thoughts as you guys. So independently, two people or two individuals did not understand the Blaze ban, and secondly, when I saw the Phoenix, I assumed that they were they had a plan for how to beat Phoenix in the solo lane, but they picked up the Tyrael. Were you guys surprised that they chose Tyrael to solo lane against Phoenix after how Chips essentially got dominated, I feel, by Electra?
I don't know exactly what happened in their draft, so I can't totally speak for them. I can understand the Tyrael pick in that solo lane isn't like super important to dominate on a map like Battlefield of
Hmm.
Eternity. Um, so it's okay to like just hold the solo lane with someone like Tyrael as long as you're expecting to win team fights. And maybe they were expecting us to go for Wombos because we took the Medivh at Diablo, but I didn't feel like that was really like the main part of our game plan or anything. So I don't think the Tyrael Sanks ended up getting much value at all. But I can understand what they were thinking, maybe.
Yeah, that's fair. So in the first game with your draft, I'm assuming that when you guys have scrimmed in the past, like right now, like you said, Phoenix seems to be a sleeper OP for the solo lane. A lot of people are just trying to play him as hyper carries. Uh, have you guys just dominated then in scrims where people are not respecting the fact that Phoenix has little to no counter at this point for a solo lane?
I have to be honest, we have not been practicing a lot in scrims. We threw a little bit of caution to the wind. I mean, we've just like over the weekend, our solo lane player, Electra, he just was playing a lot of Phoenix, and and a few of us were playing it with him, and he was just getting really comfortable on it. And we're
Mhm.
like, you know what? Like, it's a little bit of a risk because we haven't practiced it, but I believe, I just believed in our players, and I mean, they delivered. I think the Phoenix play was excellent, especially in Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah. So in that first game, were you guys a little concerned after Salted Snacks wound up getting a three-man advantage where Hanzo got the first death and then the rest of your team staggered? additional 2 deaths.
Um, that was my that's my bad. They actually, I think they played that really well. I saw the time loop come out,
Hmm.
and I wasn't paying attention to my positioning as much, and the garage flank just came out at the exact right time. So it was a really good play by them to get those kills. I was surprised because I just again didn't expect it, but you have to expect good players to make plays like that. But I think we were still pretty confident coming back into the game. They were really pushed up.
Yeah, I think Bay State's play there was absolutely critical. The fact that he was able to delay the turn in twice, not even be picked off all the rest of your team, stop the boss, and the boss essentially got no value, which then means the web weavers were sitting in their base, not getting any further value either. I'm sure you guys must have been like really really happy about that. You lost three, but they got nothing really.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I mean, their like core was under pressure because they were trying to get turn in, and they got no value off their boss. It was and honestly really good shot calling by Hayes and just really good play all around by my team.
Mhm. So that last fight, I think that was absolutely crazy. For if I'm gonna kind of like walk you back through it if you don't remember it. So
Sure.
Electra's being chased down, and Electra manages to get down to like roughly 25% HP, and then the counter from you guys where the dragon arrow comes out, and then Hayes drops that massive shove. Like, did you guys realize that Hayes had sent Garage to another planet?
I'm learning about it just now. I honestly, I mean, I knew that we won that fight really well, but I actually didn't realize that Garage got pushed out. I just know that in general, I thought that was a really good turn, and it
Mhm.
obviously worked out for us. I was really happy because they used a lot to try and get the Phoenix. So
Yeah.
we were just saying like, hey, they've already used a lot. Let's just turn and take this fight right here.
Yeah, when you go back to watch it, you'll see Hayes didn't just toss Karash out of the fight. He tossed another member out 5 seconds later out of the fight with another planetary expedition shove. Uh, so, what are the comms like in that sort of situation for you guys? Like, is Hayes doing the shot calling? It sounds like for picking the
um,
turn.
So Hayes makes a lot of the macro. I mean, makes like basically all the macro shot calls, and we just kind of follow them. In terms of when we're engaging, it's kind of like a mix. It's a mix effort. It's really whoever thinks they have the engage kind of says, "Hey, I'm looking to go on this," and then Hayes will say like, "Yeah, like go," or the tank will if they have follow up. It's just as long as we have like an engage and reasonable follow up. And at that point, I don't feel like we had much of a choice. We kind of had to engage because Electra was in a bad spot. So I think everyone was in that specific circumstance. It might have been, I don't even remember what everyone said, but it was a lot of just instinct as well
Mhm.
as just general. It's whoever has the engage calls that though.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So that second game, uh, I'm going to kind of put you in the reverse situation. How frustrated do you think Salted Snacks was playing against your team? I mean, I don't think they had an opportunity to really secure a kill because of all those portals. I mean, you guys were in the fight, and it didn't even matter like how you positioned. The portal was always available to disengage. They had almost no capability to prevent the disengage with the portal, and you could walk in, screw up the fight as badly as possible, and then just walk away. It didn't even matter.
Yeah, it's really strong. I think Medivh is something I play a lot, and I mean I know that Medivh's just kind of the popular ban right now,
Hmm.
um, but we also play a lot of Medivh, and we're playing it before the rework as well, so we're pretty comfortable in general, just kind of playing around that and understanding our limits. And yeah, I focus more on sitting back and helping my teammates rather than trying to finish the quest because I think the quest kind of comes naturally, especially now that you have it at level 1. You have a lot of safer opportunities to poke. But that game especially, they had Garrosh and Stukov, and it's like when they have Garrosh and Stukov, you can't like really say, "Hey, I'm going to go up as Medivh and play super aggressive" because you will get punished for it so
Yep.
fast.
So there was a moment where I called it a bluff, where you alone went over onto their shaman camp and completely scared Salted Snacks away. Were you expecting them to completely stop taking that bruiser camp?
Um, some people, I mean, kind of. It's kind of a mixed bag because
Hmm.
they could definitely call my bluff there, but I think like we were literally getting heroic cooldowns at that moment,
Yep.
and if there was a they didn't see have vision on Diablo, so they couldn't really risk that. I think that was the right play by them,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was a bluff. I was mostly just getting vision.
Now, you said you play Medieval a lot. Have you guys been playing, I guess, Medieval comps quite a bit as well then, in general?
uh,
If
we
you,
try to. I mean, we try to, but it's just always banned now. Everyone's just no one likes playing against it.
yep.
He's still pretty overtuned. So I expect the bans to keep coming, but yeah, we try. We like to. It's a lot of fun.
So, I'm not sure if you guys have the updated standings, but like based on the old standings, that you guys are now going to be somewhere around, I think around six or tied for six potentially. Uh,
Mhm.
so how's that feel like to be moving from the bottom pack now back into the mid pack now that you got a domination win?
It feels really good. I think that just in general, at the beginning of the season, we looked okay, but we looked really vulnerable.
Hmm.
We had a lot of games where we just kind of got blown out, and it's something that we don't want to do anymore because I think we have the potential to 2-0 a lot of teams. I mean, I think we're taking games off people. People don't expect us to, but then we drop games that people don't expect us to. So so I'm hoping that we kind of move in the right direction and just stop dropping dumb games to death moshes.
I call that whenever I play with people, and it's like you have to avoid skills like that. It's like stop pumping each other's legs. That's the phrase I use. Uh,
Yeah,
so, from my last question for you, if you had
sure.
any advice for like a lower division player in NGS or I guess anywhere, what would you say like is probably the most important thing your team has learned in like let's say the past month or 2 months?
Um, that's a really good question. I think probably the most important thing is to, for me at least, is don't just be a slave to the meta. Play what your team is good at because you get punished if you try and play meta picks and don't know how to play them. Because we were trying to play a lot of Maev, and none
Okay.
of us are really good Maev players, and it probably lost us a few games. And as well as just comms are so important. Just figure out how to do comms. I think that there's a lot of different comms that can work,
Hmm.
but it's when your comms are bad, you literally lose fights over it. And that's really I'd say always focus on comms and listening to your shot caller.
So I guess as a quick follow up to that, how would you describe your team's comms then? Since obviously I 100% agree. There's lots of ways to do comms, and each team has to find what works for them. So the question is, what is your team's comms kind of
Sorry,
generally?
yeah, uh, yeah. So our comms are kind of we've kind of talked about it a lot. Oh, shoot. Um, where Hayes is the primary draft
Mhm.
shot caller, so he gets the last call in. So he gets the last call on anything that we do,
Mhm.
but anyone can kind of suggest something or say something. But it's always everyone's responsibility to always call out big cooldowns, always call out rotations, always call out like if they're in trouble or what they need. Um, but try and like I'd say the main thing is don't argue,
Yep.
because anytime that like you can't, it's so important to learn how much split seconds matter in this game. And if you, even if your shot caller calls something definitively and someone takes the time to argue it, those 3 seconds that you lose is just it. You can't get it back.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Time is critical in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for doing the interview, and once again, congratulations to you and your team for your first domination win, and good luck with the rest of your series in NGS this season.
Thank you very much. Thanks for casting.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. See you.
Night. All right, guys. So that's gonna be it for me tonight. But I have an interesting new uh